Welcome to another Matt.Cook.Oregon video. In this video, we're going to go to the summit of Mount McLoughlin. Mount McLoughlin is a 9,500-foot peak in southern Oregon. It is the highest Cascade peak between South Sister and Mount Shasta. The area is part of the Rogue River and Winnemah National Forests. The summit trail is about an 11-mile round trip with 4,000 feet of elevation gain. It is a difficult hike, but no technical climbing is required. Join me today as we reach the summit of Mount McLoughlin. The trailhead can be reached from Highway 140. From the highway, you turn onto a forest road and reach the trailhead after a few miles. There's a campground and a well-marked trailhead parking area. Like all mountains, it is best to start as early as possible. That way you get the most daytime light and can possibly be done before it gets too hot out. It will also really help if you stretch before the hike. Anything to warm up your legs and back will help. Even more helpful than a pre-hike stretch is stretching regularly throughout the year. Pretty quickly upon starting the trail, you will enter the Sky Lakes Wilderness. For a hike, this is very difficult, but for a mountain, many would consider it easy. Moderate difficulty, something similar to Diamond Peak, South Sister, something like that. So it is just a hike. You don't really need to climb or use your hands. Today we got forest fires going on. Kind of far away, but we can see some of the smoke. So that might mess with our views. Hopefully it doesn't mess with breathing too much. Anyways, that's about it for me. Let's get up the mountain. Along the trail are two forks, and between the two forks you will be on the PCT. The trail forks are very well marked with signs to direct hikers the right way. Alright, so like most mountains, the start is kind of a little flatter in the forest. Most of them look like this. And I think we're just getting up to the steep part where the trees thin out pretty soon here. This first part's pretty easy. A couple miles through the forest, a little uphill. There were some warnings about not being able to find the trail, but I found it pretty easy. There's little things like this little rock wall. Then they got trail markers, little white spray paint arrows. So that's been pretty easy so far. There were some warnings about the ridge up top. I guess people go down the ridge too quickly and get lost. So we'll watch out for that. Anyways, I'm just trying to beat the heat, so might as well keep going. The trail gradually gets steeper and the trees begin to thin out. Viewpoints of the surrounding area show up and were very smoky on this day. As seen from 4 Mile Lake, the steep trail up McLoughlin leads you up this left ridge. As you gain elevation, the trail is harder to follow. But there are still some trail markers, such as these cairns. After some steep walking, there is a viewpoint and a good spot to take a break. Well, I'm at one of the last shady spots, so do some sunscreen and take a break. And then do the final part, head up to the top. It is relieving to have the summit in sight after some tough uphill hiking. Even with the wildfire smoke, you could still see some peaks north and south. The whitebark pine can be found on the upper slopes of McLoughlin. In the previous video at Newberry, we learned how this endangered tree is very important to high elevation ecosystems. This shot, taken from 4 Mile Lake, shows the final summit section. Like many mountains, the summit is best reached by following up a ridge. Usually you would see the giant Mount Shasta when looking south, but there was too much California wildfire smoke on this day. A lot of people watch these and are like, how do you do this? I couldn't do this, that kind of thing. And I'm definitely tired. Losing my breath, getting sore. Definitely feel it. It's just that rush of getting up a mountain. Kind of keeps me going and helps me ignore the tiredness. It's just such a great feeling. I can just think about, when I'm home, how good it'll feel, Generally, hikers slow down towards the summit as they feel the elevation and miles gained. The trail becomes less established, with loose rock making each step a bit harder. You might feel like you are so close to the summit for a very long time. It is hard to imagine going from this to this, but that is exactly what you do on this journey. After all that hard work, you get to the summit. The feeling of determination and toughness turns into accomplishment and relief. At the summit, you are thousands of feet above the surrounding area. .360 views of many peaks can be seen if not for the smoke on this day. Many summits like this have multiple high points, and it can be hard to tell which is the true summit. Even with the smoke, it is amazing to look down on so much land. A much-needed rest feels nice at the summit. I like to spend as much time as I can at a summit, as it is not an everyday thing you get to do. To the south is Fish Lake. To the southeast is Lake of the Woods, between Aspen Butte and Brown Mountain. The closest lake is 4 Mile Lake to the east. If it weren't for the smoke, you could look north and see Diamond Peak, Thielsen, and Mount Scott. Well, that is summiting Mount McLoughlin. Pretty fun, pretty good feeling being up here. It's tough, but as far as 10-mile hikes up a big mountain, I'd say it's pretty easy, but still a lot of work. But definitely one of the safer big Oregon summits for sure. Yeah, that's about it. About time to head back down and make my way home. Going down is much easier. As we were warned earlier, staying on the ridge is important to not get lost. I hope you enjoyed this Mount McLoughlin summit. Let me know where or what you would like to see next.